Hello guys, I'm Bluemoon.
And I'm Redmoon.
And welcome to our Q&A video! Okay, class is in session. Sit back and relax. Grab some popcorn, because today we will be teaching you how to survive middle school. We asked you guys on our YouTube and Instagram, what do you want to know about middle school? And you guys answered, and we're going to answer your answers to our question right now. You guys asked a lot of questions, so many questions. Like, we got 186 on our YouTube video and about 10 on our Instagram, so we're going to have to narrow it down a bit. So apologies if you're not in our video. We're going to answer 25 of them. Hopefully this will help ease your nerves and anxiety about middle school. So let's begin. Let's start off with the basics. Brave Wolf asked, is 7th grade hard? And does it get harder when you move on to new grades? Well, no, it doesn't get harder. Each grade is kind of the same. It's like they make grades so you can pass them. They don't make it purposely really hard for you to do. So it's gonna be passable. It's gonna be like easy as pie if you listen to the teacher. Let's say you're in 6th grade. It's not as bad as like a teacher saying 7th grade is gonna be so hard. I'm preparing you for 7th grade. You're gonna do this in 7th grade and this in 7th grade. Like, it's not as hard as the teachers are making it out to be. If you have an expectation for, like, let's just say 8th grade and you think 8th grade is gonna be really hard, lower the expectation by 50% because that's how easy it's gonna be. Yeah, exactly. LPS Lion Paw asks, how do I survive the first day of school? It's scary. Good question, Lion Paw. I would say all you have to do is be confident and just walk in there like, yeah, I got this. That's all there is to it. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and that's basically how you get through the day. Just think about this. Your parents survived. Everyone you could possibly know has to survive school. You can survive. Inspiration. You gotta have CONFIDENT. That's me. I'm confident. ShadowMoon67 asks, does the bell ring every time you go to a class? Why, yes, it does. The bell does ring every single time you go to a class. There are 2 bells, one when the class ends and one when it begins. The one when the next class begins is technically the late bell. So, you know, if you're late to class, the teachers will know. When I started middle school, I was afraid that the bells were going to give me a heart attack every time they went off, but they're not scary at all. They're not. I thought it was going to be one of those really loud bell sounds, but it was actually like over the speaker. But yes, to answer your question, yes. Yeah, there are bell schedules, depending on what grade you're going to and what school. Sugar Rush inquires, how many classes do you have? Well, in high school, we're going to have 10. Sadly, it's really depressing. But in middle school, we had 9, so I'm assuming that's with every middle school, so I think you're going to have 9 classes. It depends, like, what kind of schedule you have, like a block schedule, they combine periods. It's really complicated, but you probably have 9 classes. Blue Pegasus ponders, is it okay if you get lost in school? Of course it's okay. There are a million of other kids on the first day that are gonna get lost, so don't be afraid, again, to ask people for directions if you don't know where you're going. And most schools have walk-ins before the first day, which is basically you take your parent or guardian, you walk into school, you get your schedule, and you can walk around and figure out where your classes are beforehand. It's really helpful, and we go every year. But I still can't find them, but yeah, still, it's kind of helpful. Ashley Andor says, I'm going into the 6th grade. Is it hard to switch from class to class? Well, it really depends on, you know, how many kids are in your school, if you're using a crowded hallway, and if you have 3 or 5 minutes to get to class, and how many levels your school is. And if you have to go from one side of the school to the other, you may get trampled over and pushed around, but that's part of life. It'll all work out, it's fine. It's only in the beginning where it's just stressful, but eventually you'll know where you're going, and you won't really care if it's crowded or not. It's fine, just don't stress about it. It's like the least of your worries right now. There are a lot of variables that go into it, but most of the time you'll be okay no matter what happens. It'll all be good, you won't die, trust me. XX Misty LPS XX asks, are you in art class this year? Well, yes, we are. We're gonna be in the high school, but in middle school, you don't really get to pick most of your classes besides your language ones, so we didn't have like an art class that actually teach you stuff. It was just like a side art class, you know what I'm saying? This is like a class where you just do like pottery and painting and stuff, but I think this is a serious art class with sketches and stuff. But yes, we are going to be in art class. She also asked, if I'm sleeping in school, how do I not get in trouble? Well, the unicorn boss who responded to your question actually had a really good answer. But I would say pick the right teacher's class because some teachers will let you sleep and others will not. Nicole, sorry I can't pronounce your last name, says that she's worried she's gonna fail math class, and I'm gonna say Don't worry, you always have the next year to recover if you fail. The only thing you have to be worrying about is your parents killing you in your sleep for failing math class. I'm not really good at math, but I did as well as I possibly could. But I'm gonna make up my horrible grades this year with better ones. I promise, Mom, don't kill me. A tip I would give you is just try to focus as hard as you can, but don't focus too much that you're focusing on something else, or you're focusing too much on focusing and you're not focusing, if that makes any sense. If you really care about your grade, make sure you have a good class with kids that aren't so obnoxious. That was my problem last year, and I could not listen to what the teacher was saying because I had so much anxiety that someone was going to chase the other kid out of the room, and there was going to be a fight, because that's how bad my math class was. But anyways, it's fine. You won't have that problem. The unicorn boss who responded to that last question decided to also ask a question. She asked, is the school bus scary? I'm going on it for the first time. It's not scary, just make sure you have someone to sit with, or I'll teach you a trick. If you want to sit alone with no one next to you, just grab an empty seat and put a book bag next to you. Most of the time, people won't ask you to move it. It's kind of annoying if you're like trying to find a seat and someone's doing that, but if you want to sit alone, that's probably the best way. And again, confidence, so if there's no seats and you have to ask someone to move, just be confident and be like, yo, let me have that seat, man. Can I sit next to you? New BFF. I need a seat. Anyone got one for my butt to sit in? There's a bunch of other variables that work into how well your bus is. Of course, there's the kids and how loud and obnoxious they are, but for the most part, it's fantabulous. And if there are loud and obnoxious kids, just put in headphones and you'll be fine. Just make sure you're not going to get off at the wrong stop or something. Alfred Aguayo inquires, do you get lockers? Well, it really all depends on what school you're going to. In our old school, the 5th and 6th graders didn't have lockers, but in the new school we are at now, all grades in middle school had a locker. So it just really depends. It all depends again. It's hard to answer these kind of questions because it all depends. New_LPS_lover asks, how do I survive drama? There's so much in my school. I'll let you in on a secret. There's only one way to avoid drama. It's to not have any friends at all. But clearly, most people don't see that as an option. If it gets too serious, make sure to tell the teacher and stuff, but most of the time, you can just listen to it and ignore it. It's really fine. If there is a lot of overwhelming drama, try not to get involved, and if someone, says something, try to not say anything back. Again, it depends on what kind of drama it is. You won't get killed over drama. Well, hopefully, anyway. Yeah, depending on the drama. Cynthia Moon asks, how do I survive bullying? Well, just like the last question, you really just have to ignore it until it goes away, but you should ask an adult for help if it gets too serious or if you're dealing with it every day. You should tell an adult or someone who can take action. I mean, you can tell your friends, but it's not like they're gonna do anything. I know if you want to just keep it to yourself and you feel embarrassed for telling someone, but it's better to tell an adult, it'll get better. They have a lot of these videos in class telling you what to do and stuff, so you won't be alone and there will always be teachers who are willing to help. At least every school has an assembly about this. There really aren't as many stereotypical bullies as you think there are in school. Lion Warrior 14 inquires, how do you deal with the most annoying people at school? Well, again, you just have to ignore them until it goes away, but if they keep annoying you, just try to roast them. Don't be too mean, but just try to warn them off. Just be tough. Just be tough if you want them to go away. But if they still don't go away, that's probably what they wanted, so just ignore them again. You just have to ignore it most of the time and take action if they're really serious, like they're affecting your grades and how you do in school. These next few questions have to do with us more than advice because we weren't specific enough when we asked you guys for these questions. You guys asked more personal questions compared to advice questions, but we're gonna answer some anyway. On Instagram, lps.galaxy.arts asks, what is your favorite/best subject? Well, lunch, reading, and... anyone? Oh yeah, art. Obviously. Shadow_Emily asks, do you have any mean teachers? Well, the only mean teacher I can think of is the one I had in 7th grade. He was a history teacher and he was just very strict all the time and just really monotone and boring. And he assigned a lot of work, when you're taking a test, he's like, okay, after this test you can finish up this project, do this homework, and do more. And do 50 packets. But most teachers really love their job and are really cool and down with the kids. They're normally lit, as kids say it these days. Yeah, most teachers love their jobs. Substitutes are the ones you should be looking out for because they're not really doing it as their main job, so they may or may not hate what they're doing. Amber_I don't know ponders what our favorite teacher is /are. Well, this year I would have to say it was our science teacher. He was the best. He was pretty chill, but he was also like, he had rules so the class wasn't too out of control. We'll call him Mr. J. It's weird because a lot of kids actually really hated him. They thought he was creepy, but I could just relate to him. I'm like, people think I'm creepy too, so like, you know, you're awesome, dude. Yeah. And he's moving to the high school, but we didn't get him for class, and I'm so sad. I really wanted him for class. Oh well, I'll still get to see him in the hallways. Before Redmoon got to class once, I decided to sneak in Mr. J's class and sit in her seat so I would surprise Redmoon when she came in. She was pretty surprised, and the teacher didn't care at all. He really didn't care. He thought it was pretty funny. Super OPS Customs. S. What was your scariest moment in middle school? Well, we made a video of embarrassing moments in middle school, so we'll put the link in the description below. But we didn't talk about scary experiences. But basically, my whole math class was the most scariest experience of my life. In school, anyway. This next question is a really good question for all you LPS tubers out there. Kawaii LPS Films asks, did you get made fun of when people found out about your LPS? Well, no, people didn't really find out. We had to tell them, but we only told 2 people, which we considered to be like friends, or 3 people. Oh, jeez. They honestly didn't really care. It's not that big of a deal. Well, high school might be a different story, but in middle school, most people could really care what you do with your free times. And if they do, they're not friends at all, and you should get rid of them. Not killing them, but, you know, just
Get rid of them.
Tell them you don't want to be friends anymore. Ellie's weird ass. Do we ever draw in class? And the answer is yes, especially when there's another artist in the class. I feel like I have to outdraw them. Like, I have to show them how good I am and that I'm an artist. Even though they don't really care. It's just, I feel like I have to draw if another person is drawing, you know? When I'm taking notes and stuff, I also just scribble and doodle all over the place, so I do draw even if I don't have my sketchbook out. Like, if you're listening to what the teacher's saying and they don't care if you're drawing, you can draw and listen. Because I did a whole science experiment revolving around if you can pay attention and draw at the same time, and the answer was basically yes, you can. LPS Tuber 33 questions. If we are the kids that sit in the back of the class and draw anime, they're on to us. Oh god! No! No, I don't know. Get out of here drawing. I didn't draw this. It's not anime. Come on. It's a phase, Mom. Unicorn Fantasies asked a lot of questions, but we're only going to answer 2 of them. So she asked, do you do any clubs or sports, and are you in the school's band or orchestra? Well, we don't do sports. We did basically every sport in elementary school. Like, we did swimming, basketball, dancing, soccer, softball. Yeah, softball. We did all of them in elementary school, so we got them out of the way, and I'm not sure if we're going to do some in high school, but we may or may not. And we didn't join any clubs in middle school, but we may join some clubs in high school since high school highly recommends that you join clubs. We did play instrument in 4th grade. I played the drums, and I played the trombone, but we quit because we didn't practice. Now, with all of that said, Galaxy Cat asked the most important question. How do I survive middle school? Well, you need a survival kit, bring like a lot of band-aids and first aid, pepper spray. Pepper spray is a must. Food and gum to keep off all kids from crowding around you. All jokes aside, just think about it this way. Everyone survived that you see walking down the streets that's an adult, so you can too. If I survived, then you can survive. It's not as bad as teachers make it out to be. Last but not least, MLP, Emo Pony, wonders if we're gonna post videos throughout school. And the answer is, of course, yes we are. Obviously, we're gonna try posting once a week like we normally do. So look forward to new videos every single week. And just because we're making this video doesn't mean we're gonna go back to school yet. We'll go back to school at the end of August, so we still got time. I think that's all the questions we chose because that's a lot of questions. So hopefully that eased your nerves a little bit, and I'm not easing your nerves by coming closer to the camera, just creepily staring at your soul. So hopefully that eased your nerves, and you will survive. We have an Instagram, so please follow us on there. We post Instagram pictures and behind the scenes and outside pictures, and a lot of pictures and cool pictures. So yeah. Inspirational song. We're in the dance party. Up to the story. Well, sorry to remind you about school. Thanks for watching. Yes. See you in the next video. Bye. Peace out.